Yeah, yeah. What they saying? I'm so divine, I'm so divine. Imperfection, perfection, my presence shines. My mental is parasailing maritime. They say I'm destined to read the palm line. Yeah, I'm so divine, I'm so divine. Imperfection, perfection, my presence shines. My mental is parasailing maritime. They say I'm destined to read the palm line. Yeah, I'm so divine.
Welcome to episode 14, guys. H.G.R.G podcast. Today, we're going to talk about how COVID-19 is affecting real estate.
First thing first, happy
cheers and cheers.
Mother effing New Year's, guys. Great year. Our journey is about to start going full throttle. We got the portal coming out. We got the portal out. We got the soft opening. Everything is looking good.
Yeah.
Guys. Congratulations, guys. Congratulations.
Oh, thank you. Just in case you guys are wondering what he's speaking about, we have a lot of people behind the scenes asking us for mentorship and what can we do, and they've gravitated to the podcast. So we've decided, to come out with a mentorship program where we're going to sit down with you guys, walk you from A to Z for your first deal. Right now, we've done a soft opening. We did it for 10 people. And it kind of got past a little bit of more than 10 people, but it's a soft opening. We're trying to figure everything out, and we're having a great time doing it. Absolutely. And you guys will hear more about that. So that's exactly what Jerry was saying when he said congratulations, to us, and hopefully it's a prosperous year, for everybody that works with us as well.
Absolutely.
I don't know about that hopefully thing, but
so we're excited about that. We'll definitely bring you guys an episode on that as well. Right now, we're just behind the scenes working everything out, and it's looking real good right now, guys. DT, Jerry, happy New Year, fellas.
Happy New Year. I'm gonna take these glasses off. I can't see.
They look fire.
Time to switch.
They look fire.
So listen, guys. At the end of the day, we've always stood on, being transparent, and this is no different. It's a new year, but you see the COVID numbers starting to climb again. You see it starting to rise, and it seems to affect everything. And, real estate, also gets affected by that. There's no ifs, ands, or any way around that. Right. So
it was like a bad relationship, man. It keep coming back, man.
As soon as we think it's looking good, it's our new variant, and the numbers are skyrocketing. So with that being said, DT and Jerry, I want to get into a few questions that people have, and something that we just want to speak about here on this platform. And as far as the new variant goes and COVID-19 affecting everything, how is the buying process now with COVID-19? Prices up? Is there still inventory? DT, what does that look like when it comes to that?
Yeah. So first and foremost, let me kind of circle back with this COVID thing. I just lost an uncle yesterday to the to COVID. So I just want to emphasize to people, please, man, it's not a joke. It just because it may not have affected you or, somebody in your immediate circle, don't think it's too far away from home. You know what I mean? And we're not talking about somebody who had underlying health issues. We're talking about somebody who was laughing and joking, never really had hospital visits before and, caught COVID and, unfortunately it got the best of him. He ended up passing away yesterday. So, COVID has affected people personally, in tremendous ways. This is a man who has inspired me to begin to even have the want to deal with houses. He was a master carpenter. He could do anything he wanted with wood, and he's the person that intrigued my interest in properties and housing when I was young. So hat goes off. Theo, I love you, and may you rest in peace. But so going back to your question, Lance, you asked, how is the market, right? In the COVID environment, the inventory is actually low, right? There's not a lot of inventory because interest rates. are so low. So people are buying, and this is for residential, this is for investment properties, portfolios, larger properties, commercial, even mobile homes, storage units. I mean, everything is really, really low. You got to really dig. You got to have your feet in the street. You got to have boots on ground. You got to be beating the streets right now to find, good deals, great deals, off market, on market. Like it's not easy, right? So you got to kind of be savvy right now. You got to have some type of real team. Like your team has to be A1 right now.
Solid
market, right? Pun intended. H.G.R.G has that.
I don't want to sound cliche, but we definitely have that team. We definitely have that solid foundation that brings us to that gold mine. So absolutely 1,000%.
When you say savvy, you also ready. You got to be ready to pounce.
Yep. The consumer, right?
Correct.
So if you have the right team and you, the consumer, are not ready to pull the trigger, kind of hesitant, this market will pass you. This will pass you because this is like, it's a vehicle that's going at, the speed limit, right? So if you're in the far right, the far left will pass you. And the far left is who's winning right now. And I'm not saying that in a political sense. I'm just speaking about literal car driving.
yeah, clear that up.
Yeah, let's be clear here. I don't want to get beat down. So, but yeah, so to answer your question, the inventory is low. The market's on fire. Markets everywhere, on fire. How has COVID affected it? I mean, obviously, because of the interest rates being low, it's done it positively. But when you go down to buy and hold, level, it's affected it not so positive for so many people. I don't want to get too far ahead of each other, but I wanted to ask your question.
Right. Is it harder to negotiate price now because of COVID-19? I mean, because the inventory is low.
Yeah,
I would say yeah and no. Yes, because it's a buy market, it's a seller market now. So they have the upper hand because the inventory is low, but there's always room to negotiate. There's always somewhere you can negotiate somewhere. It's limited now because it's a selling market, but it's always going to be a chance, and you can always, and that's what we always do. We always knock down a price on H.G.R.G. Yeah. We try to knock a price somewhere where we could get it.
And that comes with having off market, right? DC?
1,000%.
Yeah. So it has
huge thing that not just puts you a head and shoulders above the crowd, but H.G.R.G. really focuses on off market deals right now, because that's like, that's part of that far left lane that I was describing. That's that, right? You get into that lane, you be a part of that off market deals. I mean, you're basically, we tell you about a deal, and it's just you and the seller. There's no traffic. There's no, you're not doing bidding wars and stuff like that. And that right there is gold, right? So, not only do you possibly get that property for less than what you would get for if it was on the market when you're, battling other people, but you're the only one bidding on it. And you're talking 40 days, 35 days, 60 days in closing on that property. So it's a streamline. So those are the gold mines. Those are the gold mines. That's what people are paying way over pricing for that 10, 20, 30,000 over housing for off market deals right now. So
if you could just get an off market deal at the market price nowadays, I mean, it's almost a win.
You scored.
Right. It's a win nowadays. So that in itself is great, because that's kind of how the market changed and how COVID has affected it. Right. Before you find something off market, you knock them down $10,000, $15,000, because there's no competition there. Right. And you're to a seller, they might go, I'm getting rid of this before I even put it on the market.
Right.
This is great. I'll take the $10,000 hit. I have enough equity in it, or I don't owe much at all. And, let me get this off my hands, whatever that looks like. So you have no, there's no issue really. They're getting $10,000 off.
It's a win-win for everybody.
Right. Nowadays though, a seller may want to put it on the market and go, I want a bidding war. So if you can avoid that part and you can go ahead and get it just for the market value today, it's a win.
Right.
It's a win. And this is what
very hard to do, but it's definitely a win.
Yeah.
Right. And that's what COVID has done. And that's, and speaking of H.G.R.G, not to keep patting us on the back, but, we have people that we work with, our realtors and stuff like that, that find stuff. on market deals, off market deals, and then us as well with the connections we have can find off market deals and bring that to the table for these guys. And that's why, once again, guys, to full circle, like my man DT,
I love it.
That's why, we want to be prosperous this year with our program that we're bringing, because we can do stuff like that, and we're hoping everyone wins with what we're doing. So that's a big thing. So that's just the market.
You got sorry to cut you off. You got people you got people who are paying up for our services, right? The number that we charge, and the first deal that we introduced them to, not only did they save above what they paid for our program.
Are you preaching today? Okay.
But they got what they came for. They paid for their program in the savings, for their first deal, and we're working on their second deal, which they're going to save again somewhere in that same realm of funds. So you pay for the program twice in your first two deals, and we're talking a week.
I'm going to be a real host right now. Do you mean you've got them 2 deals already? I mean, and that's great. And we'll have that. Obviously, I know who we're speaking of. We'll have that person on the show, so that way they can come here and give their testimonial on how things went, and just give people, what it is, the transparency of letting them speak instead of hearing us speak about it. Right. So the market, you say, has changed because of COVID-19. We went through that. Right. Jerry, as a landlord, how has COVID-19 affected you? And just give us the transparency of it.
So there's some good and some bad. The bad is some tenants are not paying, and they haven't paid for about 2 years. And because the extension and the eviction, we're not able to evict anybody. So as of right now, they're still standing there, not paying the rent for about 2 years. Now, there's programs as well that benefit the landlord. That some tenants are that they can't pay the rent because they are affected by COVID, and they got backing from the government or programs that we are getting the money from them, the back rent. So I would say it affected me very much because I'm losing money. But then I get it in the back end because I get the whole lump sum from a program.
Right.
So
Jerry,
if you
go ahead.
If you stick in real estate, it's bad right now. But at the end of the day, you're gonna get what you need, what you're supposed to get.
Yes.
So just keep on pushing through the hard times, and you're get the goal, because the goal's coming.
Yeah. But you said that you're losing money. Now, when you say you're losing money, are you talking about in total, or are you talking about?
So in my terms, if I'm losing $1 from a property, I'm losing money. I'm sorry. That's how I think.
Right. Okay.
So
fair enough.
Right. But in the whole realm of things, no, I'm still coming out winning.
Right.
But at houses and at units, I am still not getting all the rent, and I'm losing money. I believe that's what I think.
Yeah. Okay. So your book is positive, even though some properties may be in the
1,000%. I wouldn't be preaching if it wasn't positive 100%.
Very true.
Got you. Okay. And I guess that'd be my follow-up question, which you kind of answered there. If someone has one property and they just purchased it and they're going through the same situation, I was going to ask, what would you say to that? But you kind of answered that, saying just stick through it. You're going to get what you get, but stick through it. That's why, I don't want to give so much away, but that's why when we sit down with these guys, we game plan with them and they go, hey, listen, even if this happens, it's okay because we bought the proper way.
Yep.
And we bought right. So you're going to be able to withstand it until it's time.
Yep.
And
we're very transparent about it. And listen, you're going to hear transparent a lot with H.G.R.G. So take it for what it is.
Yeah.
We stand on that. That's what.
So if you buy smart, let's just wait, and you'll be able to wiggle through this, right? You'll be able to withstand this, but eventually, you'll be fine. So as DT, as far as like some of those programs, is because, hey, listen, this is the market that we love.
Yeah.
The programs that we have available to us, is that nationwide, or what does that look like?
Yeah. Excuse me. It depends on your market, right? On your city, on your state, on your town, on your municipality. Different states are ran differently. So I would always check into your municipalities locally, and then also on your federal level to see what programs are available to you as a landlord and what programs are available to you as a tenant, right? Initially, most of the first programs were tenant friendly, 100% revolving around tenants to help tenants. As of late, they've tried to favor closer to the landlord. So again, all depending on the market you're in, the state you live in, your local government, your municipalities, you have to check into that. In the market that one of the markets that I'm pretty kind of fluid in, they have right now, they previously had some federal funding for something that was tenant based, but the owner can be involved or initiate. Then after that, they created something the owner can do on their own. They don't need the tenant to be involved. Both of those have expired, right? Those have ran their course. Then now they just
those are finished.
Yeah, those are finished. Those funds have been exhausted in the specific market I'm talking about. Again, I refer to you to tell you people, whatever market you're in, whatever properties you're dealing with in your local environment, to make sure you do your own due diligence on that, because some markets that's not the case. Some markets it is. But now what they're doing is they're doing more of a local thing, more of a municipality grants and funds, right? Obviously at a smaller price point as well.
Of course.
But they're still, available to tenants as well as owners. They're even doing stuff now for vacant properties because of COVID, right? So if you have a vacant unit that was, for whatever reason, is vacant, fill out applications, provide proper paperwork. They're paying, I think, up to $5,000 for you to fill that vacancy, right? So if you have to fix floors, walls, doors, windows, if you could show a receipt, pictures, and all that good stuff to prove that, they're paying $5,000, or they'll help with $5,000 of that cost to get that property rented or rent ready, if you will. A turnover, which is another episode we're coming up with, but they'll pay up to $5,000 for that. That's the newest and most updated one in one market that I'm pretty fluid in. So again, just refer to your local municipalities, obviously also as well on the federal level, because there's different programs, different levels. So yeah.
Okay. So once again, Jerry, thanks for being transparent, about your situation. And the situation is that even though you have many properties, there are properties out there that aren't paying, and DT going through the different programs that may be available to you. I know in our market and other markets as well. Just like you said, once again, check on that, do your due diligence. But it doesn't matter at this point really if you have high-end real estate or fringe neighborhood real estate. It seems like you're going to run into some kind of issue due to COVID-19.
Yep.
And you're going to have to work through that.
Yep.
You're going to have to work through that. It's real estate. People have jobs that now they have to be remote, and they got to work through that, or jobs have been cut and they've been moved to different, sections of that company, and they have to work through that. There's a lot of things that people have to work through with COVID-19. So is this bulletproof to COVID-19? Absolutely not. But there's still leverage there, and there's still a way to buy smart. So that way, when this is done and this is over with, you're still in position to win.
1,000%.
So don't let that hurt you from jumping into real estate and buying a property. And I'm going to go back, DT, to what you're speaking about, the gentleman you were speaking about.
And I also want to kind of interject, but I would love you to finish your thought there, and then I'll kind of expound on it once you finish.
No problem, Kanye. Go ahead.
I love it. You don't got all the answers, Lance.
You ain't got the answers, Lance.
Go ahead, man, please. Finish your thought, and then I'll kind of.
No, go ahead. You're fine. You're fine.
All right, cool. So there, you said is this bulletproof for COVID, right? So my response to that would be, if you bought right, it is. Period. We have people, and we get calls all the time, right? People who are buying today, people who have bought, years ago, who are, customers of ours for long term, and new customers. If you bought right, you can sustain what you're going through now, right? If you bought right, if your property management is doing what they're supposed to do, obviously your property manager should be the most annoying person in the world to your tenants who are not paying rent. Some of which, rightfully so, can't pay rent because of what COVID has done to their lives.
1,000%.
Some of which also are not paying rent because they're taking advantage of the situation. Right?
1,000%.
Some of which, have really made more money in COVID, during COVID, and still decide not to pay rent, but they're obviously using what they can to their benefit, right? Yep. Keeping in mind, being sensitive to everybody's reality, right? We all know that some people, rightfully so, deserve any and all help they can get. Others take advantage of it. With that said, can you buy now? Is this sustainable? And is this something that is bulletproof through COVID? My answer would be yes, but you have to buy right, and your team has to be right. If
1,000%.
Those variables that are all together, then what you're saying is 100% correct. And I know you're speaking generally, but I just want to make sure that's clear, because how do we tell people buy now, buy now, buy now? I mean, COVID is a real thing. That's not going nowhere, right?
All right.
So how we tell people is that, we're not telling you that just buy now through whoever, and that team isn't solid and they're not working for you. We're telling you buy now, but we're telling you buy now with the right team, the right team, the right way, the right market,
unit, yeah,
property. So I just wanted to, interject there.
No, let's keep it real. Let's keep it real.
Right.
If you have a great property management, they probably should let you know what your options are on getting rent.
Right. Yep.
How to go about getting rent, and maybe introducing it to your
Have you paid any of your tenants to leave your property?
Yeah.
Because you can't evict.
You can't evict.
So
that's an option
for your tenants. Hey, I'll give you $1,500 if you leave the property by the end of the month.
You can get creative.
Some people are like, my God, why would I pay somebody who owes me $10,000, $1,500 to leave my property by the end of the month? Okay, so
because at the end of the term, they owe you $20,000.
Hello.
There you go. Perfect.
Hello.
Perfect.
Right.
Absolutely. And that's believe. Listen, some people might look at that and go, listen, you got to be creative.
Right.
If you know.
No, I'm sorry. It just hurts you. It hurts you on the long run. To keep that person there is hurting you. So the best way is to get them out is, if you got to pay them to get out, I'll pay you.
Especially if you know they're abusing the system.
1,000%.
So if you know they're abusing the system, so now they have money, they just don't want to pay. Obviously they're money hungry, or they're greedy. And I'm sorry somebody feels a certain way I'm saying that, but obviously they don't want to pay you. They want to live for free. They're collecting more money and making more money than what they've ever had before, right? So if they can do that, maybe there's room for you to negotiate to get them out of there.
1,000%.
Maybe there's that room. Here's 2,000.
Yep. To be clear, there's people that, in every level of real estate, fringe neighborhoods, affluent neighborhoods, ghetto, however you want to label it. At the end of the day, every level, that are taking advantage, that are suffering, right? Legit, and that are playing the game. They're walking that bridge on a fine line, right? It's one of the most disrespectful things in the world when you pull up to somebody's house and asking them, hey, what's going on? Talk to me. As long as you communicate with me, I'll work with you.
Right.
You owe me this month's rent or this many months rent. What's going on? Is your husband, is your wife, is your friend? What's going on? And when you pull up, they got a brand new BMW in the driveway. They got a big trampoline, a pool that's full of water, and they're telling you, I lost my job, I'm this and I'm that. So those, it's hard for me to feel sorry for that type of a situation, right? But then there's some that when you go there, you know, sometimes I've even had tears. We've had people that cried. You know, when we walked on their porch, they're like, "Oh my God, thank you for coming. I don't know how to tell you this. I've been meaning to call you, but I don't even know how to say this to you because I'm embarrassed.
Right.
What's going on? My husband, this, that, and the third. Okay, listen, I'll work with you. I'll work with you. As a matter of fact,
there's a program.
There's a
you
program.
lost a job. Even better. We can attest to this. We know the story. One of the tenants, been an amazing tenant for a long time. Hey, my husband lost a job. Oh my God, my daughter, this, that, and that. Okay, what does your husband do? Oh, he does it. You know what? I got a job for him.
Job for him. Yeah.
I got a job for him. And everything, you know, but that's part of, you know, obviously being savvy, right? That's
creative. Though. Right? Not everybody's gonna be creative, so we definitely get creative with it. We definitely get creative with it.
You have to, because you got to be genuine, right? You also have to have empathy, but at the end of the day, it's a business.
1,000%.
Right. So
you said it. Treat it like a business. Yeah.
You know, it is. Don't treat it like it is. If you don't, you'll fail. It is a business. So, and it's hard to walk that fine line, right? So you got to be human. You got to produce, and it has to be financially. It makes sense, you know, because nobody's in real estate to pay out other people's bills and lose money. Right. And this works. This works. Even in COVID, this works. If you can purchase real estate and it works through COVID, can you imagine when COVID is no longer the variable that it is, what it's going to do for your life?
Yeah, very true. Very true.
So what's it doing? What's it doing for our life now? It's woof. What's it going to do when it's over? It's going to be woof.
Absolutely, and absolutely, and these are great points.
I love that. That's dope. That's dope.
These are definitely great points, and this is. Like I said, we want a platform where we give it to you, you know, where it's transparent and there was no, how can I put this? There was no fabrication when it came to Jerry. So listen, I'm not getting paid.
Right.
Some people not getting paid.
Yeah.
You know, and then he tells the story. Say it again.
Unadulterated truth.
Unadulterated truth.
The red,
you know? And he said, listen, I owe you, you know, you owe 10,000.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, it's just we're drawing from stories that are real, you know, but because I know, and obviously DT, you know, but the public doesn't know. I know that Jerry can lie, or not lie. I don't want to say it, but he can paint it where he goes, yeah, I'm still making money through all this COVID-19. I'm still getting cut checks.
It's just a beautiful thing,
thousands of dollars, guys. Right. Getting cut checks every week. Would he be lying? Absolutely not.
Not lying. But
would he be bullshitting for real? He would be.
It would be me telling you all this fluff, and I'm not that type of. We're not that type of company. Yeah. So we're gonna tell you the bad, the good, and the evil.
Let's give them some real numbers.
Real numbers.
Real numbers. So if you normally see 14%, 15%, 8%, 10%, depending on your investment, your market, the property, your purchase price. If your normal is a certain number, what's your COVID number?
I would say about 70% of people are paying. So 70 to 75%.
So what's your normal collection rate?
About 90%.
So you're 20%, give or take, down.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's an accurate number.
Those are real numbers. That's
an accurate number.
Yeah. So
if you realize what he just said, I don't know if you guys are listening. You're still getting 70% of your rent. That is a huge number, regardless of the fact. Mm-hmm. It might sound like, oh my God, these guys are still getting only 70% of your rents. You're still in the green,
right? Especially when you have a lot of them.
Yeah.
So just
changes.
Keep that in the chamber, because that is very big.
Yeah, and that just substantiates. And again, that was just right off the hip question, right? That substantiates what Jerry was saying when Jerry said, oh yeah, I'm losing 100%. Because if one tenant doesn't pay me, if their rent is $1,000 and they pay me $9.99, I lost $1. So I'm losing.
I'm losing 1,000%.
Right?
I'm not. I want my $1,000, sir.
100%. But on a large thing, right? When you have a portfolio like Jerry's, 70% of 40 units, 50 units. That's a real number.
Right.
No, yeah. Right? We're not dying, but we wish we want more.
Yeah.
So and don't. I don't want someone to watch it. I mean, greedy. Of course, you want 100%. It's not that we're greedy. It's the fact that we treat our properties like they're 9s and 10s. If you watch this podcast, you'll understand what I'm saying. We put in the money.
We take our pride to do what we do here.
Right. Something's wrong, you get fixed. Even that person that owns $10,000, that property is getting fixed.
Yeah,
they
have an issue. We're gonna address it. Why? It's not only for them; it's for the long run as well.
Even when you're losing.
Yeah,
I was definitely gonna touch that. Go ahead.
There's times now, and I have to emphasize this. And I know we referred to it in a different episode. There's times now where all of us have rental properties that a tenant moves out of, or a tenant lives in, that owes thousands and thousands of dollars, and they call for a repair that cost thousands of dollars.
I'll give you real numbers.
Go ahead.
I have a property with two units right now that both of them are not paying, and it costs. And they just called us and said they had some issues with certain things in the property that's going to cost me $6,500.
And they're not paying.
And they're not paying. They owe me. They owe me. It's already done. It's thousands and thousands of dollars. This is 2 years of working. Don't
skip over that, because that's the bad, right? A lot of people talk about the good. Let's talk about the bad.
Right.
The bad. You pay.
So he's got to come out $6,500.
Plus, you're taking a loss every month.
At that property alone, I'm taking a loss every day.
But thank God you have so many units that they absorb your loss on that property. So overall, it goes back to that 70% number, right?
Not only absorbs your loss,
right?
It allows you to make fixes that are worth $6,500.
1,000%.
That's important to say.
It absorbs and it sponsors.
Right. Exactly.
1,000%. 1,000%.
So once again, this is the reality that we deal with COVID-19. Now, before we end this and move on.
Let me ask you one question, guys.
Oh yeah, go ahead. That question, absolutely.
January 15 is coming around the corner. What do you think the government going to do?
So, depending on the state you're in.
What am I asking you? Yeah, what am I asking you?
Depending on the state you're in, January 15th is a very substantial date, right? Different states have already dealt with this. Other states have not yet dealt with this, and they're later on in January or even February. So what he's referring to is the lift of the eviction moratorium. And
okay, I'm with you.
So, your question is January 15th. What do? Obviously, you have to see what happens.
No, what do you think they're gonna do?
You have to see what happens. I say, in my opinion, I think they're going to push it back. That's my personal opinion. I think they're going to push it back.
One and only?
I mean, if history repeats itself, I also believe that they're going to push it back for the simple fact that numbers are rising again.
Yep.
And that you can't even find a test kit.
And the time of year.
And it's the time of year. It's the winter time. Just in case anyone needs to know.
The cold and flu season is up. Obviously, COVID numbers are up. If right now, if somebody sneezes, they got COVID.
Right.
1,000%.
So it's bad. It's so bad. Like it's
the last problem they want to deal with is now people being put out on the street.
Right.
So at the end of the day,
they started printing money to avoid homousness.
It's a big fact.
Yeah, that's a fact. Preach.
It's nothing to push back a date now.
Right. They created laws. They created PPP loans and to avoid homelessness, to avoid obviously there's a lot bigger picture, but depression, a shutdown, governments, and there's a lot. It's very detailed. But I'm just saying, like, I don't think that it would be far-fetched at all, and not just one market, but in multiple markets. Again, depending on what state you're in, because different states politically run differently, and they have different views and thoughts on the virus in general, and also how to fund that. But again, always refer to your local as well as federal. It's two different ones.
I was going to ask that now.
Yeah, refer to
so
both.
Federally, do you think that the government steps in and helps out the landlords now? With PPP or whatever it looks like. No. Okay.
No.
Well, there you go, ladies and gentlemen.
Well, cool. you got to understand the government that's in place right now is not really
for the landlords.
For the landlords, they're going to be people friendly, right? That's just that's the.
But do you think it's opposed to the tenants if they help out landlords though? Not help them evict, but help financially. If somebody has.
No.
Okay.
I don't think that, because your initial question was, do you think the government will step in and do something for the landlords?
That's correct.
So my
offer programs,
right.
Like PPP loans, stuff like that. Yeah.
Right. So my answer is no. Right. Okay. So then you ask, do you think that it's negative if the government comes in and helps the tenant as opposed to the landlord? No. Whoever needs help needs help. Whenever the government wants to intervene, they're going to do it, and as they should, whatever. I just know how the circle of life, if you will, works. And in my opinion, I think they're going to move it back. It benefits them. They have a printer. They're printing money. They're not going to stop printing money till they feel like they just fix the problem by printing money, period. So that's their way of fixing it.
The circle of life. Okay, Mufasa.
They feel like if you own one rental property, if you own one property that is not your primary residence, they feel like, and this is my opinion, it's not a fact, that you can afford to take all the losses. The person who's renting and 9 to 5 and whatever they're doing, they can't take the losses. You can, because you own something that's not a primary residence.
So with that being said, I guess my last question for you guys, and this is to both of you. What does the future look like with the numbers? Cheers to you too. What do the numbers look like with the COVID-19 on the rise? What's the future look like, with COVID-19 on the rise, with the new variant and whatnot? Do they start shutting things down? Are they going to push back the eviction all the way into next year? I mean, what paint a picture of what you think is coming, for real estate based, what do you think the future is, and what does it hold?
Go ahead, G.
That's a good question. So I really do think the numbers go up, but the variance right now, they dropped it down from quarantine from 14 days to 10 days to 5. Do I see it shut down? I don't think they could afford to be shut down anymore. So I think they're gonna try to keep it open, or keep the world open as far as they can. COVID is knocking everybody out little by little. So it's getting tougher and tougher to stay open. I got schools closing because teachers are not there.
Right.
So it's gonna be tough, but small businesses, yes. Real estate, no. Real estate is gonna stay strong. Real estate is gonna be there because they're gonna try to help a tenant pay rent. They're gonna try to help here and there the landlord. So I believe real estate will stand strong. Small businesses will start to fold a little bit, because
in the economy, the small businesses,
1,000%. That's my opinion. Not 100% sure, but my opinion is real estate stays strong. But we're gonna have some hits. Real estate is always gonna get some hits, and that's before COVID. Real estate had hits, so it's gonna take some hits, but I just think it's gonna stand strong.
Yeah,
That's my opinion.
I think COVID, obviously the numbers rising. Yes, you're going to get businesses that shut down. Yes, you're going to have some inconveniences. Yes, you are, in my opinion. Yes, places will shut down and go remote. 1,000% is going to happen. Is going to happen. Will the entire country be shut down again the same way it was before? That I don't know. Do I believe that it could? Yes. Will it be for the same term? No. Because to Jerry's point, the newer variant is a shorter term. They even made it so you only got to quarantine for 5 days if you're vaccinated, 10 if you're not. They even made it that if before if I'm in the house with my wife and kids.
Yeah, to talk about it.
If I catch COVID, right, I'm positive. My wife tests negative. She can go to work today.
Right after.
Right.
No symptoms. She can go right to work.
She can go right now today. So, will they shut down completely the way they were before? I don't really think they will. Is it possible? Yes.
Anything's possible. Yep.
How long will it be? Honestly, I really thought they were going to do it over the Christmas holiday. I really thought they were going to do it over Christmas, New Year's, shut down for those 2 weeks because most people don't work anyway.
Right.
That's what I thought they were going to do, but they didn't do it. So whatever. But yes. So, and then as far as real estate won't fail. Done right. It will never fail.
Done properly.
Done right. Done right. Purchase right. Now, mind you, if you own one unit, you own property that you have 2 units in that property, or one property that has 4 units, right? Or just one property with one tenant. If one tenant doesn't pay, depending on if you own a 2, 3, or 4 unit, yes, it'll affect you differently. If you own 50 properties, it'll affect you differently. If you own 50 properties and your reality of your income is 70% of what you normally would get, you could survive, and not just survive, but still come out positive. You can receive positive income and do well with that.
Right. 1,000%.
But if you have one unit with
it's going to be hard.
Paying,
yeah.
You got to now come out of your personal pockets or your business pocket, however that looks, and foot them bills. Now it's a loss. It's a loss. It's a loss, but it's a write-off.
Right. Right.
It's a write-off. There's there's a lot to it, but anyways, not to be long-winded, but I just want to make sure we're clear.
It's tax season too. Okay, go ahead, talk that nasty stuff, brother. I like it.
so yeah, and I appreciate the opinions from you guys. As far as what you think the future holds.
What do you believe?
I think that once again.
Last time we put him on the spot, he didn't do too well.
Don't test me. You see what happens when I come back from being sick. I start slam dunking stuff. All right.
So how do you feel, buddy?
I do feel like we're still going to run into issues. The numbers are rising. I see, and to me, and this is personally what I feel. Once again, we give this platform our reality and our truth, and and I say it to say this. I feel like this variant is not what we dealt with when we first ran into COVID-19. I almost see it like a common cold. Now I know people were saying that first. Oh, it's like a common cold, COVID-19. Now this time, I kind of believe that. I don't see so many people. Not saying that death doesn't come from it and hospitalization don't come from it, because they do.
Yeah.
I just don't see it being as strong this time. And that could be because a lot of people, got their shots and they got their boosters, and that could be it. Or we know how to deal with the virus better and take care of it better and take care of people better. So I don't know if maybe that's why it's not hitting as hard, death-wise and hospitalizations. But nevertheless, it doesn't stop people from panicking. Nevertheless, it doesn't stop the government from
good old social media.
Social media, all that stuff, it plays a role. It plays a role. And unfortunately, I think that, even though I don't think we will close down, I think it's going to affect a lot of people. I do think that the government's going to have to sit down and figure something out with these numbers climbing, or the other side of that is that come April, June, the numbers start going down again. You know, people aren't in the house. You know, it's not flu season, and you know things start to right again. You know, so it's hard. But as far as real estate goes, like you guys said, and I'm a believer in what we do. We buy smart. So you know, we sit down with the people that we've had. We sat down and said, hey, listen, because of COVID, the way we're buying, you should still be able to stay afloat. And here's why, X, Y, and Z. You know, I'm not going to give it all away. So, you know, as far as real estate, I think we'll be fine. We'll be okay. This is not our first rodeo with COVID.
And you're 2 years in right now.
That exactly.
Well, that's what I'm saying. 2 years in, and we're still flying high. So
for you, you're right. For you, that applies.
Yeah, 1,000% for us, absolutely. For us, 1,000%, we're still flying high. But 2 years in the game, and we're still saying real estate is still the move.
Right, and we believe in that. Yeah,
not now, but right now.
Correct. So
right,
it goes a long way for us.
And the last thing I have to say is, you know, fuck COVID-19. You know, that's basically what it is for me. You know, I'm done with it. Obviously, it doesn't mean it's done with us, but you know, I'm done with it, and I just want to get through it.
It's over, man. It's getting over. Just getting long-winded talking about COVID now, man. This is just for what? Let it go. You won. All right, you got it.
We're sick of this shit, please.
Yeah, we sick of this shit.
Right.
Please, you know, please.
Let's go back to it's like Tom Brady in New England. I'm like, bro, I'm done with you because I'm a Buffalo Bills fan. Get out of here, bro. Leave. I'm
sure you are done with him.
Just leave. He goes to Tampa. He wins the Super Bowl. Good for you. Now I don't got to deal with him over here no more, bro. Just leave. So Tom Brady leaving New England was like COVID leaving the world for me.
So God, listen, that was a great episode, and I appreciate you guys completely. It's a happy New Year.
Happy New Year.
Happy holidays.
Happy holidays.
Stay safe, and stay safe.
Exactly. Anything else you guys want?
Yeah, I just want to say thank you to our sponsors, Both Nation, Keep It One Line Loaded Up, and Strong Point. Thank you for sponsors. We getting sponsors now, guys. We almost there. We almost there, guys.
and once again, you know, prayers go out to you and your family, DT.
Yeah, absolutely.
You know, for your loss.
Absolutely.
And you're a strong man coming up here, losing somebody to this and then talking about it. Yeah. You know, our next episode. So you know, shout out to you on that.
It's only right. You know, it's only
to you
right.
And your family. So,
and once again, I just want to make sure that I always say, man, rest in peace, Theo. I love you. But that he's the man that inspired me to get involved with real estate. So, you know, to me, it's fitting, right? It's just fitting.
It goes hand in hand, guys.
Yeah. Thank you guys very much. H.G.R.G. Thank you very much, family.
Salute.
See you soon.
2022, the best year of your life.
What they say? I'm so divine, I'm so divine. Imperfection, perfection, my presence shines. My mental is parasailing maritime. They say I'm destined for